Right. Optical fiber, as I was mentioning, it is basically the transparent dielectric material, glass or plastic, used to construct it. There are various applications, basically telecommunication, and additional applications are medical applications. For example, in the endoscopy and in defense also, for many applications, data storage, data transmission, in networking of systems, broadcasting of some data, many other applications are there, but major application is the communication. And for constructing an optical fiber, as I've already mentioned, we need a glass or the plastic material. And this glass or plastic will be used with two different refractive indices. The central portion will be having highest or higher refractive index. 1 minute, I want to remove the person making the noise. Right. So optical fibers has three parts: core, cladding, and coating. And this coating will be a polyurethane jacket usually. This is used in fact to protect the optical fiber from any mechanical stresses. And chemical reactions usually do not happen in this case because the plastic or glass is used. And the two layers, the internal one or the interior one, is known as the core, which has the highest refractive index, and the other one, cladding, that surrounds the core, will be having the lower refractive index. So this change in refractive index is very useful for supporting the total internal reflection, because basic principle on which the optical fiber works is the total internal reflection. So total internal reflection is not a new concept. Let me just refresh. For example, if a light ray goes from one medium to the other medium, it undergoes refraction. So refraction of light takes place when the light ray or any ray goes from one medium to the other medium. Here, the light that is going from water to air is taken, denser to rarer medium. If the light ray goes from denser to rarer medium, the refracted ray bends away from the normal. It is the time to remember that if the light ray goes from rarer to denser medium, that is from air medium to water medium, then it is possible for the light ray to bend towards the normal. But in this case, since the light is going from the denser to rarer medium, that is from high refractive index region to low refractive index region, here N1 is greater than N2. Refractive index N1 is higher than the refractive index N2. In that case, refracted ray goes means away from the, what is this? The normal drawn to the interface. Or in other words, I can say that the angle of refraction is greater than the angle of incidence. Theta 2 is greater than theta 1. If you can increase the angle of incidence, this one, theta 1, for example, initially when it is 10 degree, theta 2 may be 15 degree. When it is increased to 30 degree, this may increase to 45 degree. In that way, if you go on increasing the angle of incidence at a specific value of the angle of incidence, which is called critical angle, the refracted ray just grazes the interface. Means angle of refraction becomes 90 degree for a specific angle of incidence. That is the critical angle of incidence. If you can allow any light ray to fall on this interface at an angle greater than theta c, then that light ray will reflect completely back to the medium of incidence. This is the total internal reflection, because it is totally, completely reflected within the medium of incidence. There is no refraction, no loss of light into the medium of refraction. But medium of refraction is required for the light ray to undergo total interreflection. Remember that. A low refractive index medium is required. An interface has to be created. Interface between the rarer medium and denser medium is very essential. But this should have smaller refractive index and this must have the higher refractive index, so that the light ray gets completely reflected. This is the total internal reflection. And this total interreflection is very essential for the optical fiber to support the light ray to propagate for a long distance. For this diagram, from this diagram, it is possible to express the expression for this theta c in terms of the refractive indices. You can recall the Snell's law. Snell's law states that the ratio of sine of angle of incidence to sine of angle of refraction is equal to a constant, and that constant is nothing but the refractive index. Or in mathematical form, the product of the refractive index of the medium of incidence and the sine of angle of incidence is equal to the product of the refractive index of the medium of refraction and sine of angle of refraction. So now this theta 1, that is angle of incidence, in case it is equal to critical angle, that is the minimum angle of incidence required for the light ray to just begin to undergo total internal reflection. So if that theta 1 is equal to theta c, then angle of refraction obviously becomes 90 degree. That's why in the place of theta 2 we have taken 90 degree, and in the place of theta 1 it is theta c. And sine 90 degree means it is equal to 1. Therefore, n1 sine theta c equal to n2, or n sine theta c is equal to n2 by n1, or theta c is sine inverse n2 by n1. So if you can remember this equation, you can solve a few problems related to the critical angle of incidence as well as the refractive indices of the core and the clad. So how light propagates within the core? This is the simple diagram showing the light ray which is undergoing total internal reflection. This is the core. This blue dark line representing the interface. This is the air medium, for example. This is the glass medium, or both may be the glass. High refractive index of glass, low refractive index of glass, both are okay. And here when the light ray is made to enter into the core with an angle of incidence greater than the critical angle here at this point, if the angle of incidence is greater than the critical angle of incidence, it gets completely reflected back into the medium of incidence. And at this interface again, if the angle of incidence is greater than critical angle here also, that will undergo total internal reflection. So that happens everywhere at the point of incidence if the angle of incidence is greater than theta c. So as long as the angle of incidence remains greater than the critical angle of incidence, this total internal reflection takes place within the core for a long distance. It may be a kilometer, a couple of kilometers, or it may be hundreds of kilometers. That will continue happen. So before going to the next part, I want to show you one important thing. You just watch this video. So in this diagram, in this picture video, you could observe here that here there are the optical fiber cables. So these are all the cables. So each has the diameter of the order of 50 micrometer or 100 micrometer, depending on the application. So just for the demonstration purpose, these people have taken a bigger one. But usually the practically used optical fibers will have the what do we say, the diameter very small. That would be of the order of a few micrometers. So let me come back to our lecture. Here I want to tell you about the angle of acceptance. So when the light is made to enter into the optical fiber, is it possible for every part of the light to pass through it? That's what we need to understand. So that is not possible. For example, if 100 rays of light are made to incident upon the cross section, if you think this is the cross section of the optical fiber, this part represents the core. This internal part is core and shaded part is the clad or the cladding. If a light ray enters into this core at an angle equal to theta naught, only then it can fall at the core clad interface at the angle equal to critical angle of incidence. This angle will be equal to critical angle of incidence, in case the incident angle here is equal to theta naught. That is actually called acceptance angle. If a light ray enters at an angle higher than this angle, then that light ray will be simply refracted into the cladding, so that will not be available for total internal reflection. Any light ray that enters into the optical fiber from within this cone, imaginary cone, that is also called acceptance cone, then all those rays can undergo total internal reflection. So minimum angle required, that is the maximum angle of incidence, not minimum here, maximum angle of incidence at which the light ray begins to undergo total internal reflection at the core clad interface is known as the angle of incidence. Sorry, angle of acceptance. It is sometimes called half angle of acceptance cone. So now I think it is clear that if a light ray enters into the optical fiber core with the angle of incidence smaller than theta naught, that will be available for total internal reflection and for further propagation. Whereas the light ray that enters into the same core with the angle greater than theta naught, that will be refracted into the cladding because its angle of incidence will fall below the critical angle, so that it gets refracted into the medium of refraction. So it is not available for further propagation. Therefore here the light rays should enter into the optical fiber from within the cone or at the angle of incidence smaller than theta naught. Hence this theta naught is called acceptance angle. Sin of theta naught, sin theta naught is known as numerical aperture. It is actually a measure of ability of an optical fiber of supporting the light ray to undergo total interreflection and to guide those light waves by the optical fiber. So now I have defined two terms, theta naught, acceptance angle. It is the maximum angle of incidence for a light ray at the cross section of the core such that its refracted ray undergoes total internal reflection at the core clad interface. And numerical aperture is the sign of angle of acceptance, sin theta naught. It has the physical meaning that it is a measure of the ability or efficiency of the optical fiber of supporting the light ray to undergo total interreflection. As far as your examination is concerned, this derivation is very important. Out of, for example, 5-6 examination, nearly 3-4 times it has been asked in the exam. So before going to that, I take the attendance once again. Right. So derivation of numerical aperture, expression for numerical aperture, and also the condition for ray propagation. The same diagram I am using here, the one which I used in my previous slide. Here you can observe that the light ray is considered to be incident on the cross section at the angle equal to acceptance angle theta naught, so that it can incident at the core clad interface with the angle of incidence equal to theta c. Remaining angle is taken as theta 1. That theta 1 is the angle of refraction at the core cross section. Theta 1 is the angle of refraction. And since these two lines are parallel to each other, the angle theta 1, this one can be considered to be available even here. And for clad refractive index is taken to be N2, and for the core it is taken as N1. You remember that N1 is always greater than N2 for an optical fiber used in applications, and the surrounding medium may be water or air or anything else. Here it is taken to be, the refractive index is taken to be N0 for the surrounding medium. Okay, now it's clear about the diagram. Now I am applying this Snell's law to the point of incidence O at this point. If this is the point of incidence, then medium of incidence is this one, surrounding medium. Medium of refraction is this one. Therefore, N0 sin theta naught must be equal to N1 sin theta 1. N1 sin theta 1. That is the Snell's law for this incidence. And then sin theta naught is equal to N1 by N0 into sin theta 1. And you know that sin theta naught means it is the numerical aperture. I have defined in my previous slide. And theta, sin theta 1 can be expressed as 1 minus cos square theta 1, because in trigonometry you have studied that sin square theta plus cos square theta is 1. Therefore, sin square theta is 1 minus cos square theta, or sin theta is square root of 1 minus cos square theta. I am expressing sin theta in terms of cos theta 1. Right. This is one part of derivation. And applying this Snell's law for the point of incidence B, that is this point. At this point, medium of incidence now is the core, and clad is the medium of refraction. So that just a minute, I want to see who is unmuted. Likit, I am requesting hundreds of times, but you are doing the same thing. So I will remove you. So I am back to the presentation. Here, expression for numerical aperture was already started. Okay. So here in this diagram, B is the point where the medium acts as, means the core acts as the medium of incidence and clad as the medium of refraction. So that N1 sin theta C, here in this diagram it is not shown, theta C is here. So N1 sin theta C equal to N2 sin 90 degree, because angle of refraction is 90 degree. That is what I have written here. N1 sin theta C equal to N2 sin 90 degree. And sin 90 degree means it is 1. Therefore, and N1 is brought to right hand side. Theta C, in this diagram you could see that theta C, this is theta C. Total angle from this normal to this interface is 90 degree. So that 90 minus theta C will be theta 1. 90 minus theta 1 is theta C. Therefore, in the place of theta C, 90 minus theta 1 is taken. And sin 90 minus theta 1 means what? It is cos theta 1. That's why cos theta 1 is equal to N2 by N1. Sin 90 degree, since it is 1, I have already told, and theta C 90 minus 1. Okay, it is mentioned already. I am now substituting for cos theta 1 in the previous equation, here in this equation. Na equal to n1 by n2, n naught square root of 1 minus cos square theta 1. In this equation, I am going to substitute for cos theta. So what do we get? We get this expression, n2 square minus divided by n1 square. Because cos square theta 1 is there in the equation, hence it is squared. Now take the LCM and simplify. n1 square is LCM. Since it is under the square root, it is simply n1. It will cancel this n1. So n1 will be cancelled. And n naught remains. This is the final expression. This is the simple derivation, just two-step derivation, two-part derivation, wherein first we apply the Snell's law at the point of incidence at the core, secondly at the core clad interface. So on simplification, we get this expression. In case the surrounding medium is air, for which refractive index is 1. For air medium, refractive index n naught is 1. In that case, we write this expression as Na is equal to square root of n1 square minus n2 square. That is the simple equation. n1, n naught will be taken as 1 in case surrounding medium is air. Otherwise, this is the general equation. So, in the title I have mentioned that condition for ray propagation is required. Again, one more person has unmuted. Kushal. I am removing you. Right. Condition for ray propagation is that when the light ray undergoes total internal reflection at the core clad interface, you know that angle of incidence at the core cross section is theta naught. And I was mentioning that any light ray that enters into the core with the angle of incidence smaller than theta naught will undergo total internal reflection at the core clad interface. So that is mathematically written here. Theta I smaller than theta naught. Theta I is the angle of incidence at the core cross section of the core, not at the core clad interface. And if you take sine on both sides, sine theta I is also smaller than sine theta naught. But sine theta naught was defined as the numerical aperture. That's why I have written Na here. Sine theta I is less than Na. Since numerical aperture is equal to sine theta naught, you can express it as n1 square minus n2 square by n naught. In fact, in case the surrounding medium is air, is not air. In this equation, I have assumed that the surrounding medium is air. That's why I have ignored n naught in the denominator. So sine theta is less than square root of n1 square minus n2 square. This is the condition for ray propagation. That means while manufacturing any optical fiber, a manufacturer should keep in mind that sine of the angle of incidence must be smaller than this. Why is this equation required? Because in order to estimate the angle of incidence on the core cross section, just refractive indices are enough. If we know the refractive indices of core and clad, then you can understand theta I value. So while manufacturing the optical fiber, one has to design the values of n1 and n2 precisely in such a way that the angle of incidence should be smaller than the, what is that? Angle of acceptance. And a simple definition of fractional refractive index difference is here. It is simply the difference between the refractive indices of core and clad divided by refractive index of the core, n1 minus n2 by n1. So this is again a measure of the ability of an optical fiber to support the light ray to undergo total interreflection. So that can be understood through this simple derivation. Here I have shown that numerical aperture is depending on the fractional index change. You know that numerical aperture is n1 square minus n2 square. We have 1 more minute. Okay, I will finish in 1 minute. Numerical aperture is square root of this one, a square minus b square formula. That is what I have written. N1 minus n2 into n1 minus n1 plus n2. And Na is equal to n1 delta n1 plus n2. Here, n1 is taken to be closer to N2. Usually in almost all optical fibers, refractive indices are different, of course, but difference is usually very negligible. For example, if the core has the refractive index 1.6, for the clad it will be just 1.59 or 1.58. It is little smaller. That need not have the larger values. Little small values will be usually considered values. That's why since N1, if they are closer to each other, then N1 plus N2 can be taken as nearly equal to 2N1. Thinking in the same line, don't say that N1 minus N2 can be made 0. So that if you take this is equal to 0 by thinking that N1 is nearly equal to N2, numerical aperture becomes 0. That is physically not correct. But when it is the addition, it's okay, because NA does not go to 0 value. So on simplifying, you will get this equation. Since N1 into N1 is N1 square, you will get this expression. So what do we understand from this? Numerical aperture depends on fractional index change. Okay. For today,